daawadayaal ku soo dhawaada casharkii afraad ee maadada chemistry-ga ee GCSE ee fasalka labaad ee dugsiga sare hablaha oo idinka imanaya dugsiga casriga ee Al-daarayn ee magaalada Hargeysa. waana cashar camali ama practical oo ardaydu ay si toos ah ugu jiraan xarunta shaybaarka ama laabka casriga ee dugsigani.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to look for the practical procedure which is called a titration. So any student that can explain the aim for titration, why we do the titration.
The aim of titration is to find out the amount of acid needed to neutralize an alcohol.
Yeah, the titration it helps us to determine, to find the exact amount of acid that can neutralize if we have the specific amount of alcohol, or maybe the vice versa. So let me ask you the instrument that we need to do the practical for titration. So I will ask you the questions and then you will try to answer. So the first instrument that we need will be, what's called that one?
Funnel.
Funnel. So we need the funnel. As well as we need, what's called that one? We need the pipette. And the other one will be? So what we are going to use this one?
To get the amount of alkaline.
To get the amount of alkaline. To take the 25 centimeter cubic of sodium hydroxide. So the alkaline that we have will be the sodium hydroxide. So what's called that one? It's called the purity. So what am I use this one? To measure the amount of the acid. To measure the amount of the acid. So the other chemicals that we need, maybe we need the base and as well as the acid. So which acid? The hydrochloric acid. And the alkaline or the base that we have is sodium hydroxide. The sodium hydroxide. So also we have an indicator which is called phenolphthalein. So what am I using this one? To show us the color change. So the color changes helps us to determine the neutralization reaction, the end point of the neutralization reaction. So the first step that we are going to do will be to take a 25 centimeter cubic of sodium hydroxide. That's the alkaline. So let me take the 25 centimeter cubic of the sodium hydroxide. So I will use the apparatus which is called the pipette. So let's look that line. So that line shows us the volume is 25 centimeter cube. So let me remove the filler pipette. I will use my tongue and then so exactly is 25 centimeter cubic of sodium hydroxide. So I'm going to pour this one with a conical flask and then let me put this one. So now we have 25 centimeter cubic of sodium hydroxide, which is an alkaline. And then what will be the next? We add 3 drops of phenolphthalein, the indicator. And then let me observe how the color is changing. So let me add the 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then let's mix it. How about the colors? Very beautiful. So this one is pinky. So it shows us this is the alkaline because we know the phenolphthalein turn the pinky in alkaline solutions. So let me put this one. So the first step we're going to measure the initial volume of the acid by reading the purity. So the initial volume that we have is 0. So we have the initial volume which is 0. So let me write the initial volume. So always we should use a 2 decimal point. Always we should use the 2 decimal point. So the initial volume that we have is 0.00 centimeter cube. Okay, so let me add the Qoys and then we will observe it how the color is changing. So let me. You see, guys? Okay. Look this one. How the color will turn. Okay. And then we mix it very well. We mix it very well for this one. And let me observe when the color turns into the colorless. So when the color turns a little bit, we are draw by draw this one. We have to draw by draw this one. Look guys. Wow. The color turns into colorless. So, and then we stop the POA and then we'll read the final folium. So we read the final folium. So the final folium, when we're reading the final folium, we're going to use the book to observe it very well. So we have 13.1. 13.1 for the final folium. Okay. So we have 13.1 for the final folium. Let's subtract the final folium minus the initial folium. So it will be 13.10. So we have done the first test. So that's the first tested. So we will do also maybe another 2 tested. So I will give the chance for the one of the students. He will done the practical and then we look for how much folium that can neutralize the acid. So let me give this Sureka and then she will done and explain. Okay, let's come here.
Today we're going to do titration, and the aim for titration is to measure the amount of acid needed to neutralize an alkali. So first we need to get 25 centimeter cubed of an alkali. The alkali today is sodium hydroxide. So we'll do this first.
So what's called the instrument? Is that
This right here we have a pipette, and we also have a pipette filler. So do this. To use a pipette filler, you do this to suck in the amount of alkali, and you hold this so it doesn't go back up. And then you add extra so you can get the exact amount you need. Then you remove it and use your thumb to get the exact amount you need. In this right here we have a conical flask, so we put the alkali inside. Okay, so after that we have phenolphthalein. It's an indicator to indicate the presence of an alkali, and we put 3 drops in. 1. Okay. See right here we have a pink color. That is the color of the alkali. So here we have the acid that we need to neutralize it with the alkali. So we get the initial volume of the acid, which is 13.1. So we do it drop by drop to get the exact amount needed to neutralize it. And we stir vigorously.
So the last 3 we are drop by drop to get the alcohol result. Yeah.
And right now we have a neutralized reaction, a neutralized solution of sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. The final volume is 24.7.
It's 24.7. So the initial volume that she has was 13.10 and the final volume
24.7.
24.7.
And you subtract them both.
And then let's subtract in these 2. 11.6. So to get the coordinate result, we're gonna need one more test. Are you doing the hour?
Yeah.
Let's come. Then we give the chance for the hour.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Today I'm going to be doing the 3rd test of titration so we can see if we have concordant results. The aim of titration is to find out how much you need to measure the amount of acid that is needed to neutralize the base or alkali, or amount of alkali you need to neutralize the base. So for the alkaline, we have sodium hydroxide, And for the acid, we have hydrochloric acid. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to take the alkaline and we're going to use the conical flask that we need to dilute.
This one.
We have a smaller conical flask. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use the pipette, and what's it called, a pipette filler, to get exactly 25 centimeters of sodium hydroxide. So, and we're gonna get exactly 25. To stop the acid, you can either push the reel or you can make this go up. And when you want to push the reel all the way back down, you don't want all the acid going back inside, so you have to hold this button and then keep that slowly. You want to pass the blue line, which is 25%. You want to a little bit past it, and you're going to slowly with your thumb change until you get exactly that blue mark. So now you can see, okay, so now it's exactly at the brown line, which means it's 25 on the dot. So we're going to transfer that to the conical flask. Okay, so now we have exactly 25 centimeters of our alkaline, sodium hydroxide. And now we're going to add 3 drops of phenolphthalein, which is an indicator which shows whether that shows the pH, whether it's alkaline or acid. So we're gonna only add 3 drops because if you add too much, it might mess with it. So the color changes to pink when it's an alkaline. So you can clearly tell that sodium hydroxide is an alkaline. So now what we do is that we're going to use the burette filled with the hydrochloric acid, and we're going to put this underneath. So the reason why we have paper here underneath is so that we can clearly tell when it's neutralized, and it will turn colorless when it becomes neutralized. With one hand you're going to open this, and with the other hand you're going to shake this. When you see that it's clearly changing color, you do drop by drop, but ours has already changed color. So you can see that it's now colorless, which means that it's completely neutralized. So it's colorless now. So now we have to measure the amount of acid that was taken that neutralized the alkaline with a bottle. That is 39.1.
39.1. So the initial volume, actually the initial volume was 24.70. And the final volume is 39.20. So let's subtract in these two with something and then we look for 14.5. So there is so the result does not show us the coordinate result because of maybe we didn't measure exactly the amount. Maybe when we use in the pipette, we didn't measure exactly. We didn't take the 25 maybe volume. Some students a little bit maybe below the line or maybe a little bit up for the line. So what was the coordinate result? The result is that within 0.02. So we should repeat again if we need to do the practical again. So we should get the coordinate result, guys, for this one. So thank you very much for your participation. So let me give the chance each student, maybe each two students, they will go on their table for the experiment, and I'm going to observe it how they do the practical. So let me give the chance for the each two students.
waxaa kaloo daawadayaal soo socda casharro kale oo ah manhajka Soomaaliland ee maadooyinka kala duwan iyo fasallada dugsiga hoose oo nu halkan idinka soo gudbin doono haddii alla idmo.